Hello, everyone. I'm Jake.
I'm dead inside.
Oh, okay.
Have I made that joke already?
It's not a joke.
Seems like
What? No, that's a
seems like
diagnosis.
Okay.
That's a medical diagnosis. You are dead on the interior of your soul. And so am I. Really, this is more Dave Ruby Rubes. We got. I don't know what chapter is this. I don't even know. There's no
This
numbers.
is chapter 8, How to Spot Fake News. And this chapter we're actually going to cut into 2 parts because it's much longer than the other chapters, and
It's also
I can only handle
much
so
worse.
much.
It's also much worse. Yeah, yeah, I can only handle. So the first part of this chapter, we're going to talk about some examples of things he thinks are bad, and he's going to be real mad about it. And then in the second part, he's going to have surprise. I don't think Dave Rubin has mirrors or something. Like he's never actually like examined himself.
You think Dave Rubin owns a glass house and regularly has rock throwing competitions with his kids outside?
The second part of this is literally the least aware he's ever been, and that is saying a lot because boy is this guy devoid of self-awareness. Look, I know that all of us get in denial from time to time. Whether it's about whatever it is, your insecurities and you're just like covering for them and sort of a cope. I don't know what this is. This is like Dunning-Kruger and cognitive dissonance and like had a baby and it's just called the Reuben Effect. Like it's so singularly interesting in Dave Rubin's specific case because he always stick bikes, but he never falls over. He just has a front flip and then does it again.
It felt like to me, you know the character Firefly from Batman, whose whole thing is being a pyromaniac?
Like he lights himself on fire a lot?
He lights other things on fire. He has a flamethrower. He lights buildings on fire. It made me think, what if that guy started doing PSAs on the danger of forest fires?
Only you can start forest fires!
Like, I'd be like, okay, I agree, forest fires are bad, but can we talk about the fact that you are constantly lighting fires? Like, why are you the one who's giving a message about this? If you can't tell, the message of this chapter is basically all mainstream media is fake news and bias and bad, but Dave Rubin, he's honest, he's fair, he's balanced, and he never has any bias, which... No.
All right.
No.
So let's start the first half. It begins with I'm just going to read this to you. Audience, you just get to be angry, okay? This is all that's going to happen is you're going to be angry. I'm not going to help you at all with this. I should probably thank mainstream media. If it weren't for their abject failure to do their jobs, you'd have no idea who I was. I'd probably be I can't even read this. I'd probably be back doing stand-up in comedy clubs or out of the business altogether. I have a bet on which one. He literally writes this. My increasingly demonetized YouTube channel would have no reason to exist. My frequently shadow banned Twitter account would be utterly irrelevant, and instead of reading this book, you'd be engrossed in the latest offering from J.K. Rowling, and I am not joking when I read this to you out loud. He wrote this in a book. Dave Rubin says you'd probably be engrossed in the latest offering from J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, and the vegan millennials of unspecified gender.
That joke didn't age very well.
That joke wasn't relevant when he wrote this last year. What are you talking about? She's been an open transfer for like 4 years. What is happening?
Okay. Dave Rubin has, much like Pokemon of old, hurt himself in his confusion. J.K. Rowling, not on board with,
no.
Let's call it gender stuff, not hip on, not
gender
hip
stuff.
To the jive of our,
the reality of people's existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she does write a wizard book where they just pooped everywhere before they figured out how to do magic.
Hey, you poop and you obliviate. Not obliviate. That's
now your poop will never remember where it came from. It'll just be aimless poop wandering the waste.
What you do is you it's not for the poop. You take a shit in front of anyone, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And then you're,
who took this shit? Who took this shit? That's a way better way to take care of the poop problem in Harry Potter. just Men in Black mind wipe everybody. Don't fucking get rid of it. Okay. All right. Okay. Too tickled. So, we're in a mood. He goes on to say dumb shit. Surprise. He talks about his garage being like everybody else's with childhood memorabilia and stuff. But alas, he's rich.
Womp womp.
Oh no, you made me rich. It's like a, it's kind of like ha ha, but like paragraphs.
Okay.
Where he could have just said ha ha instead. I don't know. I wish can you learn Obliviate to obliviate me of this?
Only once the book is done.
Do you think?
Then yes.
Do you think they give Will Smith an actual little thing? I feel like if anyone has it, it's him. Or Jada. She might have gotten it from him. Anyway. Then he goes on to name all the people he hates. New York Times, yep. Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, Guardian, Salon, Daily Beast, Fox, BuzzFeed. You get the gist. It's 2016 again.
It's funny because he mentions MSNBC
yeah.
and ABC, and he briefly mentions Fox. But at no point in this does he really go on. He doesn't really make any comment on Fox specifically,
of course,
which
not.
I find interesting because he spends the chapter shitting on MSNBC and CNN and ABC and all these networks, but literally at no point does he go like, and also Fox News. They're misleading as well towards the right, but
and
he doesn't
very obviously
do
right leaning, like with total bias, right?
Yeah, he even does a section later on, which really should be in part 2, so I won't really go over it here. But he says something along the lines of, I don't know, the most trusted name in news for CNN, and then he makes fun of whatever MSNBC's slogan is, and I really thought the next line was going to be Fox, fair and balanced, haha. But no, he just doesn't mention it at all.
I wonder
very, very
why.
Strange.
Very odd. Very odd that he wouldn't be fair and balanced.
It's just annoying to me that in a chapter that he is purportedly taking people to task for their bias is clearly illustrating his own bias.
Yeah.
It's just annoying because certainly, and I know you and I, we're free to criticize CNN and MSNBC. I don't think we agree with how mainstream media tends to cover certain topics, and they obviously have a bias. Often that bias, especially if we're talking about CNN, is pro-outrage, pro-corporatism, it's that kind of stuff.
Well, a lot of stuff has to do with basically the FOMO version of journalism at this point, where you got to be first, not correct.
Sure,
it's very TMZ. It's very because it's and he sort of pays lip service to this a little bit. They are sort of fighting alongside social media, but I mean,
which is an interesting point he talks about. He sort of talks about escalation and how in the 80s CNN came around and how it changed the face of media
24/7 news cycle.
24/7.
Yeah.
And then its competitors showed up and things escalated with the advent of the internet, and people who are like pundits on the internet can get involved, which creates snappier, sort of less.
But here's the deal. Look, we're streamers. There's other people that are streamers. Hassan is probably one of the people that people think about when you think lefty streamer Vosh, obviously. When we're all online, like, sometimes news breaks through Twitter, and, like, we don't just go, aha! Bad guy did bad thing. Usually it's like, oh, let's check out this article. Oh, let's read it. Okay, let's see what's going on. This is a little sus. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the way media hasn't caught up and they're older people that are in charge there, because, you got to kind of build a career to do that, and they haven't. But, like, our generation is starting to be those people. How aren't they just, like, in a 24/7 news cycle, doing like live fact checking and live research and like just do it live, like everybody else does. I have no idea why they're not doing that, and it's fine because people now turn to Twitch and Twitter and
I imagine they
stuff.
are behind the scenes to a certain extent. You just don't see like the anchors doing those things. But I guarantee they have an entire team of researchers that are working.
Right, I know. But if you did, if you stopped doing that bullshit, and if you did have the anchors on screen talking about like, you know, how you do this. This would be. I mean, you'd fix the problem kind of overnight, and you'd still have your ad revenue. People would like watching that. People like sort of mysteries, and that's kind of what that is when you break news on Twitter. That's why you click. That's why the click holes happen. Is because you click on a thing.
More showing your work in regard to how you got to the story and how you discovered the information you did about the story.
Showing your work is mostly of what like I'd say that Twitch talking heads is.
Yeah.
I don't know. But and just alt media in general. I have no idea why. Unless you're the quartering, in which case you just sort of poorly read an article and say, yeah, I don't like it. Fuck Kotaku.
Or you find an article from Cosmic Book News, which is reporting on something you or another fandom menace person like Doomcock says.
I forgot
which he got from a 4chan rumor, and then that's journalism.
Yeah, gotta love journalism.
Someone on 4chan said a thing! Remember when the quartering like did a rumor where it's like, is Disney about to fire all their SJW employees? And now the Star Wars lady who was a bad actress got fired, and they're all freaking out and making 7 videos a day about how their Star Wars mommy is working with Ben Shapiro now.
She's terrible, so I'm really excited for her movie. She's really not a good actress. Sad that the physicality of a large mommy is no longer involved, though. We could get another one, though. A better one. One with, not Jewish conspiracies. So he goes on and talks about this. He also sucks a little CNN dick for a second, only so that he can blue ball them at the end, I think. He kind of goes out. He does this kind of thing a lot. It's sort of a tactic he does, like very similar to how, like, I used to be on the left, and like, CNN used to be good, back whenever he used to openly say he supported CNN, probably. And they were good and stuff, and then, now they're just all progressives, and we don't like that, because 85% of them are progressives. And it's like, I surely Dave Rubin understands the reason why, right? Does he know? Like, because most people that have an education are the ones that get these kinds of jobs, and most of them end up being progressive because it just makes sense. Like, it's just sort of a logical pathway towards your politics. Like, oh, this is a flaw, we should fix that. Like, that's it. Instead of conservatism, which is just like, this is a flaw, we should keep it.
Yeah, it always strikes me as odd. This happens in like education too. They're like, oh, why are there's so many liberals in education? Because
especially
you get
professors.
Educated, you're going to lean further left, and also right-wing people have a disdain for any sort of intellectualism. So of course you're going to have a lean in terms of some sort of political direction. That happens. If you want to go be a right-wing person and go be in academia, you can do so, but you're going to have to show your work, which is kind of where you fuck up because your beliefs aren't consistent with reality.
All the time. All the time they fuck up. And then they go, that's censorship. Okay, buddy. Anyway.
I saw a thing a while back where some conservatives complaining about like the vast majority of sociologists being left-leaning.
Surprise.
And I was like, do right-wingers even believe in sociology? Like, what would a right-wing take on sociology even look like? You fucked up. You fucked up. You deserve what you have. That's their dissertation. That's it. Congratulations, Dr. Right-wing McRedpants. I don't know.
Right-wing McRedpants. Got his master's in sociology from America University. So then he goes on to talk about some controversies that happened. The first one he talks about...
this one bothers me, and I had to go relook up this footage just to make sure I wasn't fucking crazy.
Yeah, this is the Covington scandal. Go ahead. The Covington, by the way, was the Native American guy, the kid with the smirk on his face, MAGA hat. Happened in 2019. Which, by the way, the fact that he is able to report on this shows that fucking J.K. Rowling joke really didn't make any sense even when he wrote it. I'm just tossing that out there.
Sure.
Okay.
So this happened when a group of children, I call them children,
They were
teenagers,
17, 16, yeah.
teenage guys from a Catholic school went to do some sort of protest for being
pro-life. It was pro-life.
Yes, it was pro-life.
I think it was the March for Life or
sure.
Something like that.
So they were doing some sort of demonstration, and near them there were two other groups demonstrating for different purposes. There was a group of indigenous Americans. I don't know what they were specifically there for. And then there was a group of black Israelites.
Black Israelites are bananas.
Yes, they're sort of... If you've ever seen my Sovereign Citizen stuff on Twitch and you've ever seen me cover Moorish citizens, they're a little similar. It's another sort of ethno-nationalist group that has some out there beliefs. So.
Black Israelites think that Israelites were black and African, and I mean that's slightly true in that there was obviously genealogical connections to Africa, like everybody. They also think that actually white people should be slaves. It's actually genuinely really bad.
Yeah.
And you'll never see either of us defend the black they call themselves the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, no. And I find it interesting. So Dave Rubin takes a look at this story and says, like, the media didn't tell you about the fact that the boys are being called slurs by the Black Hebrew Israelites, and it's like, yeah, that's not relevant to the story.
Right.
They weren't confronting the Black Israel or the Black Hebrew Israelites. They were confronting one of the people who was from the indigenous protest that was happening.
Right. And the Black Hebrew Israelites, by the way, I believe are anti-abortion.
I have no idea.
I don't think they're good guys here, so.
Either way, the group of young men is like chanting and doing stuff, which they're allowed to do.
Yep.
But clearly it's sort of a weird intimidation tactic thing.
Yeah.
I think it's silly, but they're allowed to do it. Now here gets to be the issue. The kid from the famous photo in the MAGA hat basically gets right up in the grill of the Native American guy and just won't move. He basically is boxing him in.
And the Native American guy is just doing his singing and chanting stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the kid is, and you can go watch the video. I rewatched the videos before this just so I could make sure I'm not crazy. No, that kid was being a little shit. That kid was being a passive-aggressive little shit.
But
trying
he was
to get
17.
Up in that dude's face and smiling so as to be like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not doing anything. It's that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck that kid. Do I think that kid deserved to get doxxed or death threats? No, of course not. But that kid was being a little fucking shit. And anyone who looks at that situation and actually watches the video and says, like, that kid didn't do anything wrong, shut the fuck up.
Come on.
You are so disingenuous.
I hate that's like how black and white they make a lot of these stupid things. It's like and then liberals think this. Like he actually says, like, because the Black Hebrew Israelites, who are, surprise, black individuals, they use the F slur, and then they called them incest babies. And he's like, wow, but you didn't see the liberal media talking about that? That would hurt their intersectionality thing. And it's like, what? Do you not know what that means? They used F slurs. That means they were doing a bad intersectionality, not a good one. Just because they're black doesn't mean they can't be homophobic and bad. Like, he doesn't understand this. Again, they have a weird idea of identity politics. I don't understand it at all, really. Like, a black person can't do a bad thing, apparently.
And I also just find it weird that they bring it up because it has nothing to do with the interaction the kid had with the actual person he was confronting passive-aggressively.
Well, it's emblematic of the tactic, right? So he brings this up, and he'll bring up the Jussie Smollett thing. And the reason he brings those up is the same reason people bring up Jessica Yaniv when they talk about trans people. They bring up, I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer, formerly, when you talk about gay people. Like, oh, but look at this bad one of the group that you're in. Look at this bad one. This is a case of, like, the news media being, like, ignoring black people doing a bad here, I guess. He's a bad one. So you're a monolith for your minority group at all times. Anytime you do a bad thing, same thing they did with George Floyd. Oh, he did porn. Cool, good for him. And I guess drugs or something. I don't know. I love drugs and fucking. I don't know who doesn't. Like most people like that thing. At least you like half of those things usually. Minimum.
John Doyle doesn't. John Doyle keeps it.
He has
it
dusty
dry
balls,
and untouched at
nice
all
and dusty
times.
balls. But he should do more drugs. Legal ones, of course. But he's moving to Texas where they're all illegal, like a dum dum. But anyway,
hey, now's a great time to move to Texas, Jake. I have so much faith in their power grid. Of course, you want to move there.
I mean, the entire country needs a new power grid, but. Yes, I agree that they should have some sort of backup. Interesting. Anyway, so he goes on to talk about, of course, Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett was an actor on. I don't think he's currently employed. Chicago.
He's not.
Chicago or was it the Atlanta one? I can't remember. Anyway, I don't watch either of those. I'm very Caucasian, and those aren't for me. I also don't want to watch network TV, but I do hear good things about Atlanta. I don't know what he was on though, but I know that maybe I have Chicago in my head because this was supposedly taking place in Chicago. Anyway, basically, he false reported some sort of assault in an effort to, I think, was his goal to get publicity. I can't remember what the idea was. Anyway,
I don't know.
He lied about he lied about a
thing.
Yeah, he lied about a hate crime. He lied about, and that's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine, but he lied about a hate crime. And so initially, people believed him and were like, "This is really bad. Don't do hate crimes." And then when they find out that he lied, it's like, "Well, this is really bad too, but still don't do hate crimes, please." And Dave Rubin's like, "Well, I guess you shouldn't have said don't do hate crimes because obviously." Eggs on your face now. It's like, only kind of. Like, only kind of.
Like, we know hate crimes do happen. The fact that this jackass made one up doesn't make other real-world hate crimes not exist. It's
right. And then, but that was used as a narrative to say that, like, hate crimes aren't a problem. And it's like, one fake hate crime doesn't negate real hate crime.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... No one is saying it's like the fucking, I don't know, post-Civil War South, where people are getting lynched left and right, or not even the South, really. Chicago had lynchings. Really famous ones on postcards and shit. Like, no one's saying that's not like that is that bad anymore, but no one's, I hope, that knows things is saying it's not a problem at all. Like, Ahmaud Arbery is a person who got lynched. Yeah. Actually, he wasn't just jogging, of course, from all the dumbass, edgy boys. But again, it's sort of a monolith of the minority. Whatever minority group you fit into, if you fuck up, well, everybody fucked up, and it's a broad indictment on whatever it is that you are. And Jussie Smollett is, if you didn't know, a black person. And you can't be a black person and also do a bad thing. Otherwise, all black people did that bad thing because conservatives make sense and are fair and balanced. That's how it works. Do we want... I mean... I guess we could talk about a little bit. Like, yes, it's not good that CNN and other places ran with that story. But, like... I don't really care that much because fuck CNN. I don't really give a shit about CNN. I don't know.
No,
what's their fascination? Is it just because it's not Fox News? It's definitely not as bad. It's not even left-wing Fox News. I don't even know what that would be. I don't know what left-wing Fox News even looks like because it'd have to be like lying all the time where they're not. Sometimes they're just genuinely wrong or sometimes they spin things in a way that a liberal might rather than a leftist. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it exists out there, but I would imagine it would be more akin to a smaller online thing, similar to like One America News or Newsmax or whatever. I don't know. Either way, it's perfectly valid to criticize news network for bullshit that they do. I absolutely agree. Accountability should be a thing. But like, how do I put this? Dave Rubin should not be the person sending us this message. Dave Rubin has no right to be the person criticizing people for bias in their reporting, considering he's Dave fucking Rubin.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's the Hamburglar telling people not to hamburgle.
Yep.
Like
Robble.
Robble, is that what he says? Robble?
Yeah. Robble.
I just want a hamburger, but I'm saving myself for Indian later, which makes it sound pretty nice. Saving myself, like my mouth is a virginal hole, and the naan bread is a tumescent husband. And the tiki masala sauce is my reward. I have some hot mustard sauce on here that I've had for a while, and I'm just playing with it. I'm sure that's fine.
You're sure you're straight, right? I'm just checking.
I'm just really passionate about Indian food.
No matter what, we're here with you. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if dicks taste like tiki masala, somebody should have let me know a long time ago. Holy shit! What a burden my life has been so far. If that's the case, could have had spicy ding ding. Anyway, I guess to lead into the next, to sort of give you a little bit of a tease, we're going to start the next episode with the following sentence, okay? Well, I guess the following two sentences. This is going to be a lead into the next one. These two cases, Covington and Smollett, were both unfolding at the same time as the Russian collusion theory, a drama that ran for 2 years, largely thanks to MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, who was desperate to convince her viewers of election rigging with the Kremlin. She, like many of her media cohorts, ran countless hours of coverage on the conspiracy theory that Donald Trump had somehow stolen the 2016 election with help from Russian officials. Every day was about a new theory, a new email exposed, and a new secret meeting that had taken place. Boom, boom. Whoa. He writes like he works for the Daily Planet.
The Daily Planet wouldn't hire that hat.
You don't think so? I feel like J. Jonah Jameson would be very into that.
That's the Daily Bugle.
Oh yeah, who does the Daily Planet?
Fan.
Who does the Daily Planet?
Hashtag fake.
Who's the guy that does Daily Planet?
Perry White.
Oh yeah. Played by Lawrence Fishburne in one of the films. I don't know which one, but probably the Man of Steel.
Batman v Superman.
Well, sure. Good job, Perry. Good job, Perry. Anyway, I'm surprised no one was mad about the Perry White. Where's the quartering video on the Perry White recast? Perry White, more like Perry Black, Lawrence Fishburne. Anyway, so next time we're going to talk about the Russia thing. We're going to talk about the YouTube pipeline. And mostly we're going to talk about Dave Rubin not understanding that he is the baddie.
Yeah.
So, if you want to stick around for that, you should press the button that lets you do that, which I think is the subscribe button. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
You can also check out our Twitch channels, links in the description. Our separate YouTube channels, which will probably show up in like the cards at the end of the video, which probably aren't. Maybe they're here yet. I don't know. Who knows? If not, stay till the last 20 seconds.
And you can also follow us on Twitter, where Dave Rubin has me blocked, which those are down in the description poo.
But what about your free speech?
He didn't like that I sent him a picture of American flag toilet paper. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's what it says, though. Absolute free speech, unless you show me a thing I don't like. Then block.
Yeah, he has censored me. This is literally 1984. Okay, so that's the end of the thing. We're gonna do the next one, and then you're gonna like it. I guarantee you're gonna like it, because who doesn't like more Dave Rubin? His husband. Doesn't like more than Dave Rubin. Pretty sure. Actually, I hope they're happy together. We can